So the first tool that we developed actually several years ago, and we haven't made it available to anyone to use other than the free version, but we had the web developer redesign it so that it could be used, and I'll share that with you. So the attrition calculator is pretty simple. In fact, if there's any coaches on the line or anyone on the line that's working with a mid to larger size organization, I'd love to have them give me some numbers. Is there anyone online that works with large organization that organization has an interest in or lowering their attrition rate?
You could use me. I think unless there's somebody else, we can go with numbers. I've got a client, and I've got ballpark numbers about the number of employees. They've got about 180 employees.
Okay, so we have 180 employees. How's their attrition, Rocky?
I'm guessing about the attrition, but I'm going to say it's about 5 to 10%. So let's go with 8%.
Okay, 8%. And how about the salaries of the individuals that they're replacing?
Let's go with 75,000.
As you can see, using the calculator, and by the way, this is the free edition. I'm going to show you the advanced edition in a minute. What it will do is it will calculate for you instantly what that is costing you. So, and this is just the attrition. It has nothing to do with intellectual property and so forth, but this is the real numbers that it's probably costing you just to do just a raw replacement of the individual. As what Rocky had pointed out, 180 employees, and you had $75,000. Although, Rocky, I think you're really optimistic because I spent a lot of time in Silicon Valley. I'm not sure you can get the guy that just to sit at the front desk for $75,000, but we'll use that number anyway. It would say that it's really costing you just about $250,000 just for your attrition for that. And what I'll show you is it has an option down here at the bottom to expand it. And what we've done is we've put in standard kind of numbers that we would expect with regard to productivity of the normal employees, departing employees, transition time. This is how the numbers are getting calculated for vacancy costs, staffing, training costs, and so forth. So it gives you a little bit of insight. And we found is that even CEOs don't really know what these numbers are. So when they come to us and they say, whether it's for executive coaching or particularly for our leadership development programs, the first question is well, how much do the programs cost and so forth? And we don't provide any numbers for the cost for that. We say we only do value pricing. So let's figure out what it's costing you to lose your people. And then we ask them, and I would do this with Rocky as well. Rocky, do you think 80% is a good number for a normal employee? Rocky, you might say, I think that's optimistic. I think it's more like about 75%. And what'll happen is I adjust these, you'll see the numbers up top just changed instantly. So when we're sitting down, particularly with the executives, we will use this so that they get a real number of what that looks like. And then we go through each cell, what's your transition length? And they say, well, it's high technology, so we really can't get them transitioned in 4 weeks. It's more like 6. So we'll bring that up to 6. And you'll see how it adjusts the numbers in real time. And by the time we get through all of the 20 or so different variables here, for staffing and recruiting time and interview time, and if there's meals or travel and starting bonuses. Starting bonuses right now are, I know, big in Silicon Valley. So you might have a starting bonus for a programmer of about $10,000. So I'd put that in there and you can see how that impacts the cost. And then like with our last client that we went through this, and it was a much larger company. They were losing about $7.2 million a year in their attrition. Very large company, as you can imagine. And the CEO had really no idea what it was costing him. So we said, for our programs, we probably can't get you 100% of the attrition rate fixed, but we can certainly get 10% better. So maybe we can't save you the 7.2 million, but I bet you we can get you $750,000. We would ask them, so what would you think is a good investment on, reducing your attrition by 10%, which would equate to about $750,000. If the CEO is good, he would say, if you can give me a 2 times return on investment, that'd be great. So we offered him a 10 times return on investment. We'll get you the 10% reduction in attrition, and our program is $70,000. So that's how we do our value pricing. Now, I know there's a couple people on the call here that are coaches. So I do the same thing with executive coaching. I don't know how you do your executive coaching or not with your pricing, whether it's, I don't do dollars per hour. Everything is project-based. So you can use the attrition calculator as well to say, if we have one employee and it's 100% attrition because I'm afraid we're going to lose this individual. And most of ours are executives, so they're more like $175,000 to $200,000. You can plug the numbers in there. You can see that's worth about $42,000, right? So the question I would have to the individual that's trying to hire me as an executive coach would be is just to replace that person, regardless of all of the intellectual property and all the other things, how that might affect their staffs, because it doesn't take into account any of that. Probably will pump it up to right up to their salary level or more. I think HR people will tell you sometimes it costs you 2x of whatever their salary is. It might be, $350,000. What would you pay to try to retain that person? Not only retain them, but get them to fix some of the behaviors that they might have that are driving the other people out of the organization. And then we work a price on that. Indeed, if it's just $42,000, if I can save that person and I can give you a 4 times return on investment, would you invest $10,000 to do that? And we give some guarantees for that as well. Sometimes we even enter into agreement that if we can keep the individual, we'll do some sharing of the cost that it would have replaced. So we get pretty flexible. The idea is no hourly $250 or whatever you're charging these days for executive coaching. So that's how we use this tool. If you go to attritioncalculator.com, it's available to you. You can link to it. I don't know, it's worked pretty well for us to try to do the value pricing to get people to recognize that. We use it for coaching as well as really selling our leadership programs. What we've done just recently, if anyone is interested, is that we have met with our programmer, because we've had a few people say, I'd like to have this for my business and my site. So we've gone to the programmer and the programmer said, yes, I can do this for them. So they'll remove Magna Leadership off of the top and it'll be your business, Rocky Romero's Consulting or whatever. He does the setup for $47, and for $100 you get the details where you can get access to all of the numbers in the attrition calculator, not just the simple version. And you can do exactly what I just showed you.
From what I understand, it's free to try it out.
Yes.
And if you want to modify it, then you've got a little fee there.
If you just go to attritioncalculator.com, you can use that. It'll allow you to plug the 3 numbers in with regard to the company size, the attrition rate, and the salaries, and you can play with that all you want. It'll give you everything that you need to look at here. You can play with this here, and then you can show additional details as well. So this will come up for departure, vacancy, staffing, and training costs, so they get an idea of where that real number is. The only thing you won't be able to do is you won't be able to get into these additional details like I did with Rocky about changing productivity and salary and bonuses and so forth. But all of the other stuff is free.